Okay. Welcome, everybody. Just let me stop the music. Welcome, welcome. I'm very happy to see also some known faces. A warm welcome to everybody. Great to see you. So today we will talk about purpose, and the idea of this call is really to make you aware and also to deepen or to start your journey of purpose. And as announced, you have the possibility to come on a hot seat to start or to deepen your journey. So, but to this we will come later. And yes, I'm also very grateful and honored to have Florian here on this call. He's a Thrive expert, and so together we will talk about purpose. And the idea of this call really is to have a conversation. We also want to keep it interactive, so please use the chat. You can also raise your hand, and you are invited to share insights and also to, or if you have a question, so please feel free also, yeah, to interrupt, to give us a sign that you have to add something to this topic, and let us keep it very casual and easy, right? Before we start, I just leave it up to Florian to introduce himself. Also, I invite you to get connected to him, so then you get to know all about his amazing career and his background. But Florian, the floor is yours.
Thanks, Steffi, and good to see you guys. Actually, there are a few familiar faces. Good to see you, Ralph and Paula and Thomas, and probably Michael is you. I don't know if it's you, Michael, but your picture is kind of hiding. So happy to be here. So actually, as some of you know me, so I've done a lot of consulting and then corporate business building, and now I start a business, and Steffi and myself are working on this actually also together, to help people and companies to thrive, whatever that means. We're going to find out, and we're also going to find out what the hell is purpose going to do with this. Maybe it helps, maybe it doesn't, we don't know. We're going to find out, and I'm so happy to be here, and let's have some good time and interact and chat. Use the chat, people. So if you type in something that you find interesting, share it with your colleagues, because we're going to talk fast. There are no charts. So type your notes and have fun and make something out of it for you.
Yes, great, wonderful. What's on your t-shirt? Okay, Superman. Super dry. Okay. Great. And also to get you to know you a little bit, anybody working here in an agile framework, because we often have people who are in a certain role as a scrum master or agile coach, just to get you know. Okay, so wonderful, great. Yeah. Good. And just let's jump into it. So on a scale from 1 to 10, 1 being low, 10 being high, what do you think? How good do you know your purpose? How would you rate your clarity about you and your purpose? So just put a number in the chat, and you know, there's no wrong or right. And I will share later maybe, but it was for me also a journey. I think I would have rated myself maybe a 2. I know. Yeah. I would have get this question.
I see 6s and 5s. 5 basically means kind of know it, but it's not really great, right?
Yeah. Wonderful.
8. Paula has an 8, so that looks like she's smiling like an 8.
Yeah, she's advanced. Maybe 2 years ago the figure would have been lower. Okay, now another question. How much, as you know your purpose, but how much of this are you living already? Once again, 1 means I don't live it at all. 10, I live it 100%. So something in between. Okay, so let's assume I didn't wrote it with me, but very often there's a difference, right? So Paula, right, great. And I know Paula is a very disciplined person, so I really believe it. So if she puts in an 8, it is an 8. And Florian, let me, I share a little bit what I get from people when I have conversations, and please share your observations. People tell me, yeah, I will live my, I do live my purpose outside work, means by doing my hobby or other things, taking care of a topic that really has meaning to me. Or people say, yeah, when I'm retired, then I have purpose, or then I will live my purpose, or then I will look for it. And not saying that you are there, but this is a lot what I get to know from people. And I think this is really a pity. And this is why we are doing this kind of online classes and invite and inspire people to get rid of this, because it is really possible. And we will show you through the time we are here on this call that you, wherever you are right now, you can enlarge whatever figure you put in the chat at least 1 or 2 steps. So what do you think, Florian?
Well,
now he's frozen.
I'm frozen?
No, back.
Okay. So my experience with purpose, and you know, my area of working is business people, right? So they first look at me and says purpose. I'm tired and sick of it, and yeah, we have a purpose, but it's kind of so. So my first answer is, well, it's not because the concept of purpose is not great. It's just your purpose, and then they show it as like a mission statement. It just sucks. It's just poor. It's coming from the mind. Somebody wrote it. And the second discussion I have most interestingly then is about exactly what you said. Well, work is work, and how can I live my purpose? I do it in the hobby, or I do it in the private life, and there I have fun. Right? Work is work, and fun is fun. And I have no problem with this. I would personally disagree with it, but I have one question to everybody who follows that route. Is that what you want? So if you choose to have like 2 lives and says, I want to be happy in one side and the other's just for feeding me, if that's what you really want, and if you believe that's the best for you, go for it. Now, for me, took the decision that I was at a point where Paula and myself met, where I was in a role where I was very successful. I had all the success of the world, but I found I'm missing one piece of the equation, which is called, I wasn't happy. Mm-hmm. And it came to me, one of my mentors that I now work with, and I got a sentence from him saying, what's the ultimate failure? It's success without being happy. Mm-hmm. Because why would you be successful without being happy? And I discovered, well, shit, I need to change something. And that drove me into the journey of finding out my purpose. And I was where you guys were, or some says, I don't know why I do and what I really want to do, and how I can bring this then mm-hmm. into business, because otherwise it's a hobby, because you need to meet all those to what you want to do, what you're great at, and what the market needs. And if you find that sweet spot, which is difficult, let's be frank, it's not like it comes overnight, but I believe in that that's the way to go, because the majority of our time we actually spend working, right, when we're alive. So why would we not do something when we work, which we want to do? Because it's a very big share of our lifetime. And I don't know how you are. I believe we have one life, maybe second life comes or something. So I just want to make the best out of it every minute, and not just in my private time.
Yeah, and I find it very interesting, because I have been there, right? So I had the belief, like, there's when also this concept of like work-life balance, I was a little stuck to this, and that this is not the best place to be, as you described, right? Because this means whether you live or you work. It's better to put it together. And I also had this belief that to really live my purpose, I have to make a huge change. I have to make an immediate change. Now, with the knowledge I have now, I would say this is not always necessary. So my thesis is you can live your purpose where you are right now with what you have right now. It's a lot about things that coming from inside of you. It's also about perception. It's a lot about how you think. So let me share in a few steps. So I was in banking, and I was exactly the place Florian, you just described, right? Success, but without fun. Wow, so bad. And I really could live it up to the point when up to the moment my daughter was born. And this was a change. And they're saying, okay, no more, time to change, time to do something different. And I didn't have the clarity. But I followed my intuition. I just, okay, I have to stop this to find what I want. Even I don't know what I want, but okay. So this was in 2013. Now today, and there I was advising, consulting people how to invest and structure money. And now I help people with mindset topics and how to think. From the first impression could be, oh, wow, this is something very different, a huge change she made. But if you have a closer look, right, money is something very personal, a private topic, right? So you need a lot of confidence, you need a good relationship and so on. And the mindset, the way how you think, the way what you want is also very private and personal. So different, it's not, right? There's a lot of in common. So, and this is what I mean. If I would have had more clarity at that time, 2013 and earlier, I would have been able to stay in banking and finance and living my purpose. I don't regret what I've done, but just to know, right? And also in conversations, it's a little bit a thesis, of course, from my subjective observations, that people are not encouraged enough to take more about purpose, because they're saying, oh, then I have to take a huge change, but I do have a mortgage, I have a family, I don't want. And here's something I think it's a topic which allows you also to step by step and to live your purpose from point zero, where you are with what you have. Florian, what are your thoughts about this?
So let me embed that a bit, and then I would come to the point that Ralph is making, because there's a lot of detail in the purpose concepts and also in the wording that I feel I'm also struggling with. Now, if we pull ourselves a bit back, what do you need in order? And let me recycle my claim, which is Thrive, which if you Google it, and I have to admit, when the term came to me, I Googled it. So it's not like standard German English competence, but this is also an English class, right? So we all learn Thrive. And it actually means you are successful and happy in a way that I found, or it means you grow and you flourish. So it's actually that combination that I found in this. And I asked myself, what do I really need for this to happen? And what do I also need to make progress? And how does purpose come into this, Steffi, as you talked about it? And I find it's really, I would call it self-awareness. And Dennis asked the question, hell, what do I do if I don't know what I want, right? I have 3 questions that I found are most useful. They're very basic, they're very boring, but it's really great to know them. So the first question is, who am I? And that encompasses everything about our own identity and self-image. It's, my personality, it's my identities, are my values, what really matters to me. And then that is the first step of knowing what you want, just knowing what are my values. Now, we can talk about how you get there, but let's just be clear, what should we know? The second question becomes, where do I want to go? Mm-hmm. What do I want? How does my life look like in 10 years from now? Where am I living? Am I living at Paula's place and at the lake, or am I sitting in the office on Steffi's place? And what am I doing? What do I really want? And with whom do I want to work? And Dennis, to answer your question, how do I get there? You need to ask yourself those questions. And you need to give yourself the space. And sometimes we need friends or coaches or colleagues just as a sparring partner to ask those questions. I needed that, right? And it took me some time to find that out. And I'm still on the journey. By the way, don't freak out. It's a journey. You're never going to find out. At some point, maybe you get illuminated and the call comes through the sky, but it's a journey. So clarity will grow. So second question is, where do I go? But here's the third question, and people don't know this. Because a lot of people and a lot of clients I work with, they know where they want to go, but they don't get there. Because then you get up and you leave what we call the comfort zone. And the comfort zone is great, because it gives you comfort, but also gives you safety and security. Now, the human brain is trained, is an interesting thing. The human brain, your mind, has one task. Do you know what the task of your mind is? Yes or no? This is the part where you can react, and I see you. Yeah, you can smile, you can go like, no, I don't. You can say, yes, I know, or you can go, I don't care. All right, I kind of know. So the task of the mind, the whole brain that you have between your two ears, is survival. That's what the main task of this brain is about. It's not about fulfillment, it's not about happiness. This is your job. So the majority of your mind has only one thing, and it only wants to make sure you're going to survive. So once you leave your comfort zone, let's call it the cave in old days, the mind thinks, I'm going to die, ideally tomorrow. And in the early days, we called it Säbelzahntiger, saber-tooth tiger. Today, it's LinkedIn or Facebook or something's happening. Everything can kill you. Everything is a threat. So why is he not responding to my email immediately? What is the boss thinking? I could get fired. All those things are threat. Now, once you find out where you want to go, but you're still not going, it's because you don't know, you don't have as we call it, you don't have a compelling reason why. There's not enough driving force. If you're in a position in your life or your business or career where you find I'm not getting where I want, it's either because you don't know where to go, or you don't have the power, the energy, the motivation to get there. It's never a lack of resources. It's always a matter of resourcefulness. If people tell me, Florian, I want to start a business, I don't have money, I say, well, if there's one thing currently that we have too much, it's money in this world. You're going to find money. So it's us leaving this comfort zone. And that's where purpose comes in. So to close the story and to answer your questions, Jeffy, sorry, I made a little detour, but the purpose gives you clarity about your identity because it's kind of the core, what your life is about, but it mainly points you towards the direction where you want to go, where you pull towards. And the third and most important thing, it gives you the why. This is why Simon Sinek always talks and calls it the why. If you know why you want to get somewhere, it's what we call motivation. It's energy, it's driving force. You get up and you say, I want to do this because I really care about this and this. And if I run into a barrier, into roadblocks, into obstacles, I'm just going to move them out of the way because I know why I want it.
Some thoughts about it, and thank you for the whole message. As you said, thinking about, okay, when I show up or when I become visible on LinkedIn, or about my superiors and things, this is because a lot of people live from the outside in. Means they give a lot of power from themselves to the outside, right? So who cares? And if you're connected to your purpose, this is one of the benefits. This guides you to live more from the inside out. Means if you can, I'm a person, I allow everybody to have his own or her own opinion. I don't think everybody must have the same opinion that I have, right? And if I post something in social media and somebody answers with a different opinion, in a polite and appreciating way, right? Not blaming. So we have this is, of course, has to be given that we take care of our communication rules, but that's fine, right? So and then I can think about, okay, oh yeah, it's interesting. People see it differently, right? And that's normal. This is also development, right? If everybody would see it the same way, we still would live in caves and would sleep around the fire. And not as we are doing. So, but there has to be a balance. And we have too much, or we are too much conditioned to give the power outside, to live from the outside in, to let it dictate from the outside. How do we think? And this also impacts our results. So, and especially when we get out of our comfort zone, we are more visible, and also, we think also, oh, what will the others think, right? But the truth is, the other people don't care about us. So this is also the first realization we have to face. We are not for the others. We are not that important as we are for us. And that's normal, right? So the benefit for being connected to your purpose is that you live more from the inside out. You get the force, the power back to you. And this is where I think it belongs. And this gives you guidance, right? So then you know, okay, I follow this way. As the both of us, for example, we say we want to work with business people. We say no to a lot of other people. This is not unpolite. This is just, okay, there we see our talent and our abilities. And this is our guidance where we follow, because this is also kind of connection to purpose. But before we go there, and I would like, Florian, can you share your, and as we prepared this call, I really loved it that you say there's more than one level of purpose. Can you share your definition, your idea, your concept, your aspect of purpose with us?
Yes. Yeah, and then I come back to Ralph's question, which he asked earlier, where he said like purpose is kind of a big wording, and he likes the word sense better. I actually use the word meaning a lot, right? What's the in of Deutsch? Are we all English speakers? English speaker? No. But it's fun to speak English, so it's kind of a metropolitan. Das macht doch keinen Sinn. So der Sinn in dem Ganzen. So I found it doesn't make sense what I'm doing for me, right? It maybe makes sense to bring additive manufacturing into the world, but it's not connected to me. So sense making or bring meaning into the world, I would kind of closely use towards purpose. I think purpose then, Ralph, I at least use the word, and that brings me to the definition of it. If you're bringing what you also said early on, if you have this contribution part into it, right? So if you have like, it's doing something good for the world or beyond me. Well, having said this, I actually also think that we can have this big purpose, and that's what people typically talk about. What's the purpose of the company? What's the purpose of my life? This whole big thing. Now, to maybe take a little bit of stress off the table, I actually think as powerful as this big topic is, it also makes sense, watch this language play, to you look for purpose in small things, or it's ask for the why behind things. So if you want to do something, you can ask yourself, why do I really want it? What is it that I'm really seeking? What is it? So if let me say it that way. So I might be saying, I would like to lose 5 kilograms of weight, right? Which actually would apply at this current point in time. Now, if I make that goal, and I say, I want to lose 5 kilograms of weight, and then I do a training program, it's likely I'm going to end up, like most people, I'm going to start running, I reduce my diet a bit, let's for a week to a rhythm, what is losing the energy in it. There's no purpose of me losing weight than just I want to lose weight. Now, if I connect deeper to what would happen if I don't lose the weight, or what would become possible if I lose the weight, to the purpose of losing weight, let's say I'm more healthy. All right, I was that smart. That's not strong enough. Now, at some point in my life, I did come to a conclusion. I want to run a marathon. Then I had a purpose. I want to prove I can run a marathon. You know, I was at 72 kilograms at that point in time, which is minus 10 from today. I had a purpose that made me drive. Now, I just made the decision, I want to lose those 5 kilograms, and I implemented it because I want to be a role model for my children, because my tallest daughter is starting to get overweight. And I touch to this energy, in me, I'm getting emotional, and I get fuel that I need. So I'm sharing that story because that's, for me, the core of a purpose statement. You attach to something that emotionally drives to your driving forces. And then there's maybe, I don't know if that's helping you to find what you really want. It's to really find out what matters to me. And I found whenever I get talk about my children, and if I have a role towards my children, that's a driving force. That's a purpose. So I want to be a role model for my children. I want to be the father that they deserve. And they start to get out of shape, I might be the role model in a negative sense. So I better change towards better to help my children grow up in a healthy way. So I don't know if that technically answers your question. I can come up with a technical definition, which I'm happy to share in a second for the big purpose. But here's the key message. A strong, powerful purpose has emotional power. It connects to something that really matters to you. If you have that connection, it has that power. And that's, by the way, guys, if you look at corporate purposes, they typically don't connect to emotions of people. So they kind of, but they connect to some intellectual, yeah, it makes sense. But if you don't have the heart connection to it, then we don't have the people burning for it.
But yeah, this is I think it's a good time now to look at the I like your triangle, right? Because
yeah.
As you said, sorry, I do two things together. It's not working. Okay, as you said, the companies purposes or statements, and I've been in banking. I also know them. They are lacking emotions, and probably there's the belief that company and emotions are private or personal or something like that. But to make obvious that it's different, so I invite you to describe this here. Curse it, we,
yes,
I. And it, of course, is like the company. So please go ahead, Florian, and I will draw a little bit here so everybody can follow.
So hopefully we don't confuse you guys. So we now we dive through different levels of purpose. We have talked a lot about the personal purpose, but let's go back to, if we talk business, right? If we talk companies, it's a very simplistic framework I'm using. And as simplistic it is, but as eye-opening it is for a lot of executives. So if you start to look from the top, you hit component, which is not IT, but it's the Ebene in German, we would say. So it's all factual things, strategies, processes, goals, everything that you have on the content side. Now, most companies are very it-driven. A lot of managers and executives are very it-driven, right? We have results, we care for financials, we want to get stuff done, we have tasks, roles and responsibility, everything in this corner. Now, a company has an it purpose, right? It does something. Now, this can be a really strong, powerful purpose, and let's find out what makes it powerful or what doesn't make it powerful. Now, if you look at the bottom left, you see the we. I think there's also common knowledge. I've been an executive myself for 15 years, and as an executive, you do care a lot about the content, but actually you care a lot about leading. So that's where you have leadership and culture in the we component, because typically people are not alone, but they are in a connection. Now, a lot of companies are very aware of this. Ralph and myself have been in this field since many years of helping to get progress on the we component, which is also on how you communicate, how you treat each other, and everything around culture and leadership. Now, the left bottom one, the I, the individual, is typically, at least in the world where I came from and all people I have worked with, sorry, totally neglected. So if you talk to business people and say, so how is the I doing? How are yourself doing? Are you happy? Do you have authentic people? Is everybody doing well? Just recently, we see some movement on this. Then we bring in like mindfulness or well-being. But let's be frank, I mean, the overall level of satisfaction and happiness in the business world is, let's say, has potential. In the normal language, I would say is terrible, right? Currently, like 40% of people are actively thinking about quitting the job. We have stress levels being extremely high. People get frustrated because we don't really care about how we are doing, and it starts with ourselves. So here's the main thesis, and that has landed very well with the executives I work. I call it everything starts at the I. So if we want to have great culture, if we want to have great leadership, and if we want to have great results, it starts at the I of having very strong, self-aware, self-leading executives, leaders, and people who then can form a great team, who then can form great results. But it starts with strong and self-aware and self-leading people who master themselves. So if I want to have a strong purpose at the company level, it starts with knowing your own purpose.
And I also, you know, this is also what I say, it has to be aligned. For example, and this is what bring me back to my thesis a couple of minutes ago. If, for example, if I'm the individual and my purpose is to be professional, to bring the best I can bring, I can do it in any environment. I can do it at every role I'm fulfilling, right? So and if this is seen and if this is honored and if this is the purpose aligned with the company, then we have a match. Yeah, and also you know, let us take an example, and I experienced this years ago. So even if it's actual now, I was on an event, and then, you know, we were talking about mindfulness, and then somebody all of a sudden stand up and say, "Oh, I feel so bad because I'm working for a military company." And yes, you know, so the tendency in the room was, "Oh, he's a bad guy. He's working for military, right? So this is the bad side." And I really was astonished, and it was great to see how the speaker really put it together and say, "Okay, yeah, but you know, a weapon is a weapon, and the difference is how you use it and what is the person who uses it, right? It's the same with dogs. The dog itself is whether good or bad. It depends a little bit how the dog is trained and how the owner is using it. And this is the same with the weapon. So the message here is be careful with the answer your fast thinking system is giving you.
Yes.
And this is what I mean. I haven't been aware at this years ago, and also in conversation I have the impression that other people are also not aware of this, and we think, okay, the only solution is to the way out, right? This is because this is the only solution we see at this moment with what we have. But when you improve the I, your individual, your mindset, your personal development, additional possibilities, additional solutions will become obvious, and then you can align it with the company's purpose. Of course, this is not working 100%, but also leaving is also not 100% the solution.
Yes. And that really is the beauty if you say that the magic is connect, and Ralph also wrote this earlier, it's all about connecting this, right? So you have connecting the business purpose with the personal purpose. And then what we have is really having people that burn for what it is, and what you have in the end that leads to people being happy, right? Mm-hmm. And the interesting thing is if you dive into this, the majority of people are not connected to their purpose, they're not aware of it. But once you dive into it, you find out everybody is a human with human needs. And let's talk about human needs. And most of us have the desire to serve or have the desire to do something good for people. There are maybe some lost souls out there that are evil, I don't know, but maybe they can even be rescued. Let's not go into this field. But the majority of people, they're just disconnected from the pure inner drive that they want to do something good, because we all share the same human needs in different orders, different priorities. And let's come to this, because that really drives the quality of your purpose. But before we do this, Steffi, let's maybe jump to personal on the I side. Mm-hmm. and maybe also trying still to answer a bit on Dennis' question, Jesus, what do I know if I don't know what I want to do? Let's share a useful structure on a purpose statement. And I call it useful. I'm not saying that's the one you need to do, but it has all elements in it, which I find helpful. And in general, to everybody who's looking for his or her purpose, and Dennis, I'm also talking to you, although I don't see you, it's a journey, as I said, right? So don't freak out immediately if you don't come up with this most inspiring statement on the planet that saves the world. it doesn't always have to be like this, right? You can also start where you are, and the purpose statement can grow and enrich. But here's a great statement. The first is, so we say in English is, my purpose is to. So if you take Simon Sinek, he says, my purpose is to inspire people to do what inspires them. My purpose is to bring meaning and joy to people. So, and the first element of it should be really your specific contribution, what you do, right? So don't go for my purpose is world peace. My first question to you would be, okay, great, you want to go for world peace, I love it. Well, what do you do? So
what is your contribution to the overall peace, right? Because the overall peace cannot be done by one person.
No. So what's your specific contribution towards world peace? Or in my case, it's not world peace. It's say, I want to have more meaning and joy in the world. Mm-hmm. Simon Sinek wants to inspire people to do inspiring things. So have a statement which clearly really says your contribution. And then it continues so that you create a positive impact on the greater, right? It could be the world, if you are a global person, if you say my scope is the world, but it can also be your world, right? Your neighborhood, your family, your community, your company, your team, the people that you deal with. So you don't have to go immediately for the world, but because let's be frank, not many of us reach the world, right? I mean, there are few leaders in the world that have impact on the world. So let's take your world, make a contribution, make an impact on your world. And if everybody makes a positive impact on your world, that will be fantastic. Now, I will encourage you, and I have a lot of clients that I do this, to actually widen your view of your world. A lot of people limit themselves and say they make themselves too small. Most people underestimate how much they could reach.
So let's take the opportunity. Anybody here who wants to have a look, who would like to make a deeper dive, guided by us to come closer or deeper to the own purpose? Courageous people, first line. Doesn't hurt. It's just, you know.
It can only get better.
Yeah.
Or if you have any questions or concerns or success stories on your purpose, we say, well, I discovered this and that really enriched it, to encourage other people in this call.
And you know, there's no right or wrong. For example, when I became aware also why, you know, joining a seminar, so I didn't become aware by myself, I recognized how less of my potential I live. And I have to say, I start crying in an incredible way, because I was so sad, so disappointed, so sad with me, I have to say. And then I made a decision, a committed decision. I wrote down, I'm living my potential. I haven't had an idea what my potential is at this moment. Today, I'm a little bit closer, but still, and maybe there's never the one and only answer at the end. So it is really a journey which maybe started with our birth, but it's also good, you know, to have a look at it again and again and again and again, and to develop. And also, you know, as our life changes, we have different steps, you know, graduating from school, finishing university, founding a family, whatever. The purpose can develop or change, or, you know, can look different. And so there's never a wrong or right. There's just as it is now, and maybe 5 years later, it's a bit different. Okay, so we also can say maybe Florian, if you like, what if you take me, if you would like to take some questions or some ideas, how would you do it?
Sorry, how would we go and
No,
find the purpose?
let us describe a little bit this journey, you know,
Oh,
of
yeah.
this purpose finding. If nobody really wants to have a look on him or herself.
Yeah, I know, but see, that's why I don't call myself a coach, because a coach would just be as nice as you are, and that's why I love you so much, because you're always so kind. So my purpose is being a bit painful to people, right? And Ralph knows me on being painful, because I think that makes progress. So I want to get you guys out of the comfort zone, right? So you sit there, now you smile. So I would like to have any kind of reaction, any thought that just came out, but I want to talk about your purpose, right? I don't want to have. I was really excited that Ralph showed up today, because I love the guy, and I mean, you see his chat. I mean, you see all this. I mean, but I will not go into any intellectual or conceptual discussion with Ralph on it, because I'm going to lose on it anyway. Any second I'm going to dead, and he reads all of this. So any personal, any feelings or any stories or any quick questions, because then we're going to answer this. So who wants to go first? And Dennis, maybe you have a question. You had a question saying, damn, I'm stuck. I don't know what to do. Sure. So who has something to share?
I'm happy to share my purpose, but I don't think it's formulated in a nice way. Unfortunately, I can't write in a chat. It says it's been disabled. Could it be so?
So what's your current version of your not so nicely written purpose?
Exactly. I've been formulating during your talk. So it reads that way: to build and grow a business which gives financial freedom and control over one's time to both people with whom I work and to myself.
Great. So my question to you would be, why do you want that?
Because it gives me a control over my own time, my own life.
Okay, and why do you want to have control over your time and life?
Because then I can decide where I devote my energy, how I spend time, and so on.
And what is that great for? If you can devote your time and energy for, why is this great for this planet?
I think then we can dedicate energy to the things we really believe in, instead of being asked by others to be done.
Okay, and what would be, give me one example, what would be something to believe in that matters to you?
Oof.
Just one thing that pops up in your mind, something that really you care about, that we as humans or you want to devote more time towards and not being disturbed by other shit.
Yeah, I mean, we're always going back to the same: helping others. Let's say helping others, giving others, like for example, my current business is about helping people find job opportunities.
Yes.
So that's what I love doing.
You love to help other people. And what is it, if you help other people, what is that good for? What is the ultimate outcome of it?
They can earn money, they can be independent, they can enjoy time.
Right. How would that make you feel?
Great.
What else?
Fulfilled.
Fulfilled. What else? How would they feel?
I believe they would feel as well that they are fulfilled, because they can do, let's say, they are independent.
Yes. Anybody feels a difference in Paula's statement where we're going towards? People look at you, they're with you. What does it tell you? How do you feel now about your statement or of our last 2-minute discussion?
I love that you, let's say, pointed me direction to think about the others, and that really makes you think, okay, what emotions are others feeling and how does that make you feel about it?
Yes. So Paula, in one word, what is your life about? What is this whole that you just told me the last 2 minutes? What's the scene that you really cry for? Give it a word.
Well, in one word, it always will sound a little bit populistic or
Okay, try.
weird.
Yeah, you
Oh,
can add a second or third one to it. That's okay. So what's the key theme here that we're hearing from you?
yeah, I guess it's your own control, independence.
Yes.
Independence. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that's what you are all about, right? It's self-control, or we call it freedom or independence, self-determination, and not being driven by external forces. This is what you care about.
Exactly.
Is that true?
Yeah. That's perfect summary.
Now, everybody, what we had early on, Paula, was, and can I be frank?
Sure, of course.
That wasn't a purpose statement. That was an excellent business summary of what you do.
Okay.
That was brilliant. That has nothing to do, nothing, zero. On a scale from 1 to 0, from 1 to 10, it's a 0. It has nothing to do with your purpose, because I don't know why you want to do it, why you really care about it. And this is why you're not thrilled by it. You tell me what you do, and that's great. But you, and knowing you a bit, but actually that's irrelevant. But just what you tell me, what I see from you, what I hear from you, is you really want to bring freedom to people so they can do and spend their time on things that matters most to them, so they can contribute to something to make a better world. And wasn't your business about taking like the standard shit off them and say, I run your business infrastructure so you can focus on the cool stuff? Wasn't that something what you do?
It's giving them cool projects that they can contribute towards it.
So they can contribute. So you really care about not only that you do it, but you help other people doing that. How cool is that? Because you care about that we can focus on the shit that really matters to us and are free, and we're self-driven, and we don't do the shit that somebody tells us to do. And you want to encourage people and support people so they can do what they care about. So if Simon Sinek says, I inspire people to do things that inspires them, you free people to do the shit that they really want to do. However you free them, emotionally, process-wise, supporting them. So you are a freedom fighter. You fight, or you're a giver. I don't know. You don't fight. You give the presence of freedom to people so they can be free to do the stuff that they care about most. How cool is that? How does it make you feel?
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Makes me feel good.
All right.
Cool. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Let's give a big hand to Paula for sharing.
Thank you, guys.
All right, cool.
Great. And thank you, Florian, for making it really tangible, right? Because if you would walk around the street and ask people, do you know your purpose? Probably 9 of 10 would say, yes, of course I know. But if you then dig a little bit deeper and just, invest 2 minutes like you did now with Paula, we will find out, oh, wow, but the understanding is a little bit different than maybe the first statements are coming out. And this is also our both intention to increase the awareness of this very important topic and to increase the understanding what purpose really is, to inspire you to invest time, maybe money, but effort to find out really what your purpose is. And when you have it, of course, how to live it every day, not on holiday, not at the weekend, not after 6, every moment, because your life is always now. So you decided, we are very grateful to spend this time to donate your time now with us, to allow us to inspire you, to allow us to make you aware of this important topic. So your life is always now, not when I have the next career step, when I have the car, when I have holiday, now, right? The power of now also. Eric Tolle fills large rooms with that. Ralph, you're gonna leave.
Mr. Lack wants to say something, but you first have to smile. Yeah, there's
okay, come on.
I love your glasses.
Yeah, these are fantastic. If you're 60 years old, you need to do something on trying to look young. I like that very much what you did with Paula and what Paula said. Paula, yeah? And that resonates very well with a business activity I was involved with 200 managers. I mentioned that in the chat with Deutsche Bahn, which is a rather bureaucratic organization, but these were the top leaders. And they are normally used to talk about content, like Florian said, and talk about, digitalization and how that helps, blah, 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 and efficiency. But the thing is, they did an exercise very similar to what you just did, which is called the connect exercise, just to make sure, just to trying to connect to each other on this purpose question, on this, why are you on this planet? Why are you here? And I can only recommend to use that also in a business environment very much, because it opens up a discussion. Unless you have Florian and there was nasty questions, but it opens a discussion among human beings talking about listening to each other and talking about, drivers. And then you find out a lot of things about, colleagues and how you connect. So I think even that little exercise you just did shows that this will move the energy level. And this is what happened in that 200 managers meeting for 2 days, I remember.
Yes.
Yes.
Listening to endless PowerPoint presentations, but the energy in the room was really going high when people started to talk about this, why am I here? Why am I an engineer? What do I like about engineering? I'm a person to help others to. But my point is, this is not about an exercise at home thinking about it. This is a dialogue which needs to happen. And then if the dialogue is established, that's moving the organization.
And that's a good point, Ralph. I was just going to say this. It doesn't matter at what level, if you talk business or even if you talk personal level, if you ask, and Steffi, you asked this earlier, and if we quickly share about how can I do it, right? I really encourage you, and I've tried this, and yes, it's a useful exercise. If you, Dennis, coming back to you, I still don't see you, so I don't know if you're still there. I'm still talking to you because I kind of feel we owe you the question, how can we help you if I don't know what to do? So here are a few things that you could do if we talk at the eye level, right? The first thing I did is and that's not for everybody. I did a retreat. I went for 14 days, 2 weeks in the mountains just by myself and took that question with me. No reading, no phone, nothing. Just food, me in the mountains. And I just had that question with me, nothing to read. I just had that and took that question. So what do I want? And I journaled every day and I meditated and I walked. That's what I did. And I came up with puzzle pieces. Now, I also came home quite frustrated because I had puzzle pieces, but they didn't fit. So, but if that's something, I encourage you to spend time with yourself, ask yourself that question. If you come to a point that you start to freak out, recognize it's okay to freak out because it's not an easy one. Then second step could be, or that becomes your first step, if you're more immediately, I want to talk to people, what Ralph said, talk to somebody, have a good friend, have a coach. Watch, this is commercial. So yes, our coaches are trained to do this. Get a good discussion partner, because that can easily speed up things to ask the right questions. And it's not always like in 2 minutes, let's be frank, but it's much quicker if you have a discussion partner. That also can be a good friend, but it must be a certain type of friend. Let me be clear on this. This shouldn't be too close, because then you're connected. And you need a certain type of listening skills. Otherwise, it's all over the place. Then you have great conversations, but you're not landing anywhere. But get somebody that you feel is helping you as a dialogue partner to channel that, right? And then what we're looking for is what really excites you. So if you do the self-discovery for yourself, you can ask yourself, so when was I really happy in my life? What moments was that? When was that magic moment? It can be stupid, silly things. When was I happy? So what did I do? With whom did I spend time with? What was I thinking? collect those moments. Let's call them magic moments. Collect them. And if you go through them, particularly when you discuss with somebody, you're going to find patterns. You're going to find there's always something about freedom in Paula's case, right? Look at Paula's picture, right? I mean, she's giving you clues. So it's an open field. I bet my ass that when Paula is making holidays, it has to do something with nature and freedom, and it's wide and going out into space. If I lock in Paula into something, she's going to go crazy, right? So you find those, so the way you spend holiday tells me something what you like. So I find those patterns, and that's what we're looking for. So look for the secret things behind it, and at some point you find those patterns, and it will all come together to a picture and not puzzle people.
An additional idea. So I think do your homework means observe yourself. The way Florian just described is really a good help and a great foundation. And why it makes sense to look for somebody challenging you, and might be in your environment, might be a person you pay for, a coach or a mentor, is because, you know, we are all living on our own island of reality, and we are all connected to our story we are telling us again and again. And it's for most people, it's rarely impossible to go out of it. But when another person you have you have rapport to, you have somehow connection, not too close, but there's trust and giving you question, that puts seeds in you, and maybe you find the answer directly, or maybe, you know, by giving yourself the question again and again, take it as an onion, one skin after the other, you will find it, you will get answers, and then you can put it together. And doing this with a person together is a shortcut. Sorry, need to leave. Yes. Ralph, thank you for joining.
Thanks for joining, and thanks for sharing all your wisdom and ideas. Thank you. Really love to see you.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we are also, you know, we are about an hour, and we said this will be the time box for this call. And of course, we are happy if you have further questions. Do not hesitate just to book a call. You will all get an email. Also, you can watch the replay, and also can find the link to book the call, to make, to have a conversation, right? To look where you are. And then the idea could be, what is your next step? Can be to read a book, can be, I don't know, we will see. So this is very, very different from person to person. I think, Florian, when I have a look at our, you know, what we brought to paper as a concept, the messages we want to send to you, I think we brought all the messages to you. Thank you for joining. Thank you for being here with us. Also for those who watch the replays, thank you for watching it. Do not hesitate to contact. Do not hesitate to book your call, and happy to stay in touch with you. And if not yet anybody has said to you, you are an amazing, wonderful person. Have a great day.
Yes.
Thanks for that, and thanks for the great impulses. Thanks a lot.
Thanks
Thank you so much.
Our pleasure.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. And Paula,
Ciao.
take care fighting for freedom.
Yes. There's a lead by David Hasselhoff.
Yeah. Have a nice day. Bye.
Thank you. Bye, guys. Bye.
Bye-bye.